May 27th, 2020, Umbrella Mystery Man, updated. Here we have live footage from the AutoZone parking lot near the 3rd Precinct from an independent journalist live stream. An unknown man was seen smashing out storefront windows of AutoZone near South 26th Avenue and East Lake Street. This mystery man is seen with a hammer in the left hand while holding an umbrella. It was at this point the young man carrying the pizza box was seen confronting the mystery man.
I zoomed in. I'll zoom out a little bit. Those cops will come for you.
Notice the fresh white spray paint on the walls of AutoZone. Free stuff for everyone zone. Who paints that? You're about to see the man responsible. Notice the umbrella man makes threats to the man wearing the pink shirt. The gloves. Remember that fresh white spray paint on the door? Boom. Notice the white residue on his hands? You guessed it. We have the culprit. A bystander poses the question.
Are you a fucking cop?
Umbrella man continues to evade the scene. Was he a member of Antifa? Was he hired by George Soros? Who exactly was this mystery man? And what was his motive for vandalizing the entire AutoZone storefront? Many accuse him of being a police officer. Could he have been a hired inside agent provocateur? Possibly a corrupt cop? If so, then who sent him there to initiate the riot? Additional footage was captured from the side of AutoZone. Here you'll notice the pink shirt man continues to follow Umbrella Man around the back. As they walk past the camera, you can overhear Pink Shirt say, notifying others that Umbrella Man may be a police officer. Protesters continue to pass by as our mystery man disappears out of sight. But wait, there's more. Our provocateur emerges sometime later. Umbrella Man is back as the protesters begin looting through the door he vandalized earlier. Is the umbrella used as a signal amongst agent provocateurs and members of Antifa? It's not raining, so why is he still holding up an umbrella? What's this guy up to? Is he trying to hide himself from camera footage or CCTV, possibly drone operators above? A post on social media stated he may be an officer from the St. Paul Police Department. However, this information cannot be verified. These are the alleged texts shared between Twitter researcher Dylan and the supposed ex-fiancé of the officer. Once again, this information can't be verified as there is no further evidence that has come forward yet. Is this man one of several agent provocateurs responsible for turning a peaceful protest into a full-fledged riot? As soon as he showed up on scene, the destruction and looting began. Pederson could very well be a masked umbrella man, a corrupt police officer. However, it's tough to say. Most of the umbrella man's face was hidden by his mask. Was he working for Antifa? Was he paid by George Soros? Here's some documentation from 2015 called Friends of Democracy. In it, it has explicit instructions to agent provocateurs as to how to navigate riot situations, including protests. Here we have the broken windows theory. It means signs of disorder like broken windows, litter, and graffiti, which induces other types of disorder and petty crime. Just how many agent provocateurs infiltrated the protests? Who is this man spotted wearing a wired earpiece? Was he another provocateur infiltrator or just a law enforcement observer? More questions about the officer Reddit users mentioned that the police department initially denied that he worked for them, but it turns out that he does work for the police department. His internet footprint completely disappeared within an hour of this information coming forward, including past reports and investigations against him. Here we have the footage from another angle.
Part of that shit.
Some of you think this photo might be funny, but the reality is, the entire crowd was calling this man out for being a cop. It looks like we're dealing with a crooked cop here who's working with the deep state. Here we have a post that says, a friend of mine who is an officer in Minneapolis said Soros flew in paid agitators to cause chaos. The deep state wants to take advantage of this situation to start a race war before the election. Antifa and BLM are domestic terrorist organizations that need to be stopped. What do we have next? This is Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis. What's he doing? Hillary Clinton socks? Looks like he's a liberal. Another corrupt member of the government of Minnesota, Attorney General Ellison, coordinating with Antifa. Wow. Laura Loomer states, I hate to say it, but I warned everyone. This was back in 2018 about Minneapolis, Minnesota, and how it was a ticking time bomb. She says the inept Marxist jihadist officials who run Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, Keith Ellison, and their radical progressive colleagues, Tim Walz, Jacob Frey, and Amy Klobuchar, have allowed total anarchy and terrorism to thrive unchecked. The media will never tell you this. Sadly, this rioting is now being blamed on African American communities when it's very clearly most of these rioters are members of Antifa, the radical left, and even Somali immigrants. Mass media, don't swallow the poison. They say that all roads lead back to Rome. In this case, it looks like all roads lead back to George Soros. How have the corrupt government officials, including those corrupt officers within their department and other Antifa members, been supported directly by George Soros? Let's find out. In this most recent article dated June 3rd, 2020, it states in the title, yes, George Soros sent money to fund the riots, and so did the taxpayers. As we see here, the article shows us, ever since the protest turned to riots over the death of George Floyd in police custody in Minneapolis, rumors have flown that George Soros and his Open Society Foundation had to be involved. After all, OSF funded Black Lives Matter in 2015. It didn't take long to reveal the financial ties to current riots and to show that OSF and George Soros directly support the movement today. Particularly infuriating are the taxpayer-funded grants received in conjunction with the Soros funding. These days, it seems like if you scratch a violent radical protest group, you unearth the involvement of George Soros, merely one among a vast network of billionaire donors hell-bent on destroying America. Someone ought to write a book about that. Very interesting. And it looks like all roads definitely do lead back to George Soros in this case. So it appears that he's been using corrupt people within the law enforcement, as well as corrupt government officials, as well as agent provocateurs included within the Antifa movement, in order to subvert the current government that we have under the Trump administration. How far will this man go? How far will Antifa go? We don't know yet. Will there be another major crisis coming soon? I'm not too certain. But at least we have people such as you and I, who can be independent reporters, who can record and capture on video any sort of illegal activity we may see at these events. Keep your eyes open and question everything. That's all for now. Stay tuned. Freedom Fighters Radio.